Those few men at the top that women are interested in are less willing to commit to long-term mating because they're the scarcity and it becomes a problem. So women have a double-edged sword because highly educated women are competing with highly educated women and lower educated women for the same increasingly small pool of men that they're deeming eligible.
Yeah.
So he knows I'm going to lunch.
He knows you're going to lunch.
He knows my vibe. He knows how I like to move, and he only sent $30.
Yeah. I'm not going to bend over backward for a man that is just sending whatever he can, or, you know, if he's not going to be my boyfriend, number one, but if I'm talking to him, next time I'm out and he says, oh, you need something for lunch, I'm going to tell him, it's okay, somebody already sent me $100. So he know that
you want the extra.
Yeah, you got to, because it's better, like you said.
Okay, if we're being completely honest, right here, right now, we've all eaten lunch for $30.
Yes,
let's start
100%.
Wait, cute little cafe spot, baby.
I'm not even snap us to get something popping, but
we're not saying that we're ungrateful.
Right.
Food is food on the table. However, you know what the standard is.
Correct.
Me in that situation, handling it with grace. Thank you so much, baby. I'm so appreciative. I'm gonna still take a picture of that bill and I'm gonna send it to him. Thank you for the 30. That was the tip.
Exactly.
Yeah. What's up?
Also, men, if you know that you cannot give $30 or if it's hard for you to give, then you need to date within
Don't
your.
date.
You can't date with the woman that number one does not have that expectation, or number two, it's in that range that will love and adore that $30, will save that $30, will frame that $30, will bathe with that $30, will masturbate with that $30. Be with that woman because it is a woman out there that will appreciate it and that will love it. But do not try to
date in your bracket. If you can't afford a supermodel, then don't date a supermodel. If you know that the girl that you're seeking or that the girl that you are chasing after has had nothing but billionaire boyfriends before you,
can I say something?
She's going to be used to the billionaire boyfriends before you, and she's going to want that treatment. So don't chase after that girl.
Dating is like betting on a dog race.
No, I gotta say something.
But who just sends money to somebody for lunch without going with them?
Let Olivia go.
I mean, I've seen it done.
If you do it, then who gives a f***? It's free money.
It's sweet, yeah.
Like, you don't have to do shit.
It's actually the thought that counts.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's the thought.
Send me shit.
Exactly.
You don't have to apparently they aren't worth anything if you ain't meeting them for it.
It's all great.
Who gives a damn?
I was gonna say, like, when you love someone, it's something totally different. You know, and if you really love this person, and these are the standards that you set for your life. If you love this person, you're choosing to keep this person around, and you know that they don't have the money that you, and you want these expensive dates, then you gotta get it how you live. You gotta hustle for that. Just like one thing I gotta say about this generation that I don't agree with, like, I do believe in the 50-50. I believe that women should meet their man halfway if they want a bigger house, if they want more cars, they want more of this, they want more of that. If they're not happy with the means that your man can provide, then find a different man. Don't marry that man. But you can't give a man an expectation like, oh, you have to go make this kind of money because I'm a bad bitch. Like, no, you're a stupid bitch.
No, it comes down to the exact same thing that him and I talked about earlier. Your marriage and your relationship is set up the way that you agreed to it. You don't try to date someone who wants to be 50-50 if you are not of the mindset of 50-50. So it's just date within. Nothing that she said at the end was wrong. Date within your bracket. Date what you could afford. Date what you're both
just
mutually agreed about.
It's not right. It's not right or wrong. Those women are red flags like minefield in Afghanistan in 1983.
But no, to somebody, they are the epitome.
Those women are just going to drag, just my opinion, those women are going to drag chaos into your life, that the fact they're even having this discussion and being this petty. Go ahead.
I really feel like we're not even talking about one of the biggest qualities right now, which is location. We're undermining what cities are we talking about? Are we talking about Miami?
Oh, it's Miami.
LA?
Just make it $100 in Miami, whatever.
But even when I ran my boot camps teaching guys how to get over social anxiety, Arizona, Scottsdale was very different 9 years ago than it is now. Now the women caught on. They're more like LA girls. But if you go to like a small city, this is very different. Like the location is everything. You're interviewing women that are
for $30.
But look at the common thread though. Like where are they from? From Miami.
The point was not having a nice dinner. The point was he didn't give me enough money.
Which that's the problem.
He gave
right
her money, and that's enough.
Right.
I mean,
my lunch the other day was $50.
And you ladies are saying this. That's not a red flag. That's a green
amazing.
flag. Being appreciative is a green flag. Not being appreciative is a red flag. I'm sorry.
Definitely.
These ladies are just walking red flags to me. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
You go to Nashville, you can have a good time for very cheap and go and do karaoke. But if you're in Miami and you're in Brickell, be prepared to spend at least $1,200 if you're going to a restaurant. So where are you at? And like what you were saying earlier, Rollo, what is the communication? What are the rules of the game? Like, what am I getting into? And by no means, if the girl's expectation is like $2,000 or $500,000, I respect that. But then that's not my cup of tea. Like, what is the vibe here?
The bottom line is live within your means.
None of these girls,
communication.
Communication. Okay, fine. But none of all these girls with these really high standards for like, oh, you got to pay me $30, $100, whatever the ticket is, right? Every last one of them would throw those standards right out the window if that guy was 6'1", had a 6-pack abs, had a 10-inch and was ready to rock her world in bed. And you know what? Oh, it doesn't matter. He could give me a bag of Skittles and it wouldn't make a
that's the other difference. If these ladies would be willing to date some other guy who doesn't even send them $30, then if I'm the guy sending the $30, I'm the loser. And that's another thing. Red flag. That's all I'm saying.
I thought the mating crisis was people are not having sex. So we're putting that on the shelf. So if it isn't that, what is the mating crisis?
So the mating crisis can be traced back to an essay my supervisor wrote in 2016. And he talks about this mismatch between women beginning to outpace men in educational settings. Now, when you combine this socioeconomic success of young women in recent decades with their evolved mate preference for an equal or higher status mate, it just simply means that there's a skew in terms of the lack of eligible men that are out there. So those few men at the top that women are interested in are less willing to commit to long-term mating because they're the scarcity and it becomes a problem. So women have a double-edged sword because highly educated women are competing with highly educated women and lower educated women for the same increasingly small pool of men that they're deeming eligible.
Yeah, because you can't define a man by the money in his pocket. I mean, if you fall in love with someone, it doesn't matter if they're rich as hell or broke as hell. And that's, honestly, for me, my mom thinks that's my biggest problem. She's like, yo, you got to have someone that can meet you where you're at. You know, you can't be taken care of.
So do you find this to be an issue that you are at somewhere higher and you find a smaller pool of men?
I just find, like, my ability to, like, just where I'm at in my life, it is a lot higher. I'm 27, and I'm doing really well for myself.
Well, one thing I do appreciate about this, and again, hook 'em horns, William, is that William is at least saying, you know, one thing I totally agree with is that women want to date at their level or higher. Yeah. I think we can establish that. That seems to be offensive to some people, but that is the case. And it doesn't just mean height or looks. It doesn't just mean money. Just in general, women want to date at their level or higher. So if you want to get more educated, if you get a master's degree, women tend to want men who have a master's degree or a PhD. Right. And then when you get to the 100K a year mark, 17% of men make $100,000 a year or more. 17%. That's who you have to choose from. And 14% of men are 6 feet tall. So it's 17% times 14%, which is 2.3% of men are make $100,000 a year and are 6 feet tall or taller. And
I've dated shorter men.
There you go. So it's just my point. It's like what I'm saying is.
Is that in America or is that in the world?
In America. William is spot on with this. It's like as women garner more, they want even more. Yeah. When Rihanna was making hundreds of millions of dollars, she was dating a billionaire. Yeah. Okay, it wasn't like, hey, hey hon, hey boo, I got you. I'll get the ticket. Right. I'll get the car note. No. I'm making $100 million. You need to be a billionaire to date Rihanna. What? Right. Like that's a part. And so
that's what we're looking at with the Andrew Huberman story now. Is like he is a very high status, high value guy with 6 women, apparently, maybe more, that were interested in him. That were supposed to be educated, well-rounded, empowered women who are really on their game and everything like. And you don't know that this mother might be with 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 women.
You don't. That's not like, in your head. There's a 1%, right? There's a 1% in the world, really, that are successful. I mean, that's how I look at it, especially America. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like a 1%. These parties, these events, LA. It's all really. This world is a lot smaller than you think it is. So you don't know what level, you know, at what party where Rihanna met that billionaire. She probably didn't even know he was a billionaire. Maybe she did. Maybe she knew his brother. Who knows? But
can you imagine all the other girls
energy.
trying to get at
You know
that
what I
billionaire
mean?
that Rihanna had to beat out? And Rihanna could beat out because she's an attractive, talented woman.
Right.
But my point is, like, the issue that happens and what William is describing here is that if you're a man and these women are competing for you, one of the things that you have going for you as the man is that these women are competing for you.
Right.
And so now you have a lot of options, and then we go back to the Mac and Murphy thing. Now all of a sudden I have all these options, and I might be more interested in casual sex than women. That doesn't make me weird. The problem is the lying. It's not the
It's the lying.
The lying. The problem is lying.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the problem is
be
lying.
honest about it. You never-
wanting casual sex in and of itself, like, now in general, is hedonism for hedonism's sake bad? I think Mackin would agree. Homath talked about this, and I would agree too. After experiencing life, hedonism for hedonism's sake is bad. I just don't think that men being interested in casual sex in and of itself is bad. But in this case, if we're talking about these men, and all of a sudden they have all the top 2.5% of men, the top 10% of men on dating apps get 63% of the right swipes. That is so disproportionate.
There's not